Will you and everyone you work with lose their minds if you don't use Upwork to bring in more talent to help? Yep. Can you afford to spend months finding that talent the old-fashioned way? Nope. Can you hire them in seconds on Upwork? Yep. Is it complicated? Nope. Can you have them as long as you need? Yep. Longer than you need? Nope. Is Upwork a newer, better way to work? Yep. Is this commercial over? Nope. What about now? Yep.
Upwork, this is how we work now.
I feel like it's been a bit of a crazy day, but it's really only like half a day. I have no idea what even day of the week it is these days. I mean, I literally only took like the week off, but like everything is just like, I have no idea what is happening. Christmas on Christmas Eve. And so like everything I have to shift a day up because I'm like, how many more days? I don't know. I have no idea. It's all good though. I tripped and fell, bonked my knees. I was going to visit my sponsee and I had not been to her apartment before. And so I was there and I was in, apparently it was the wrong building because I can't read numbers apparently. And so I'm in the wrong building, but before I like pull out my phone, I'm like, okay, I'll just sit down and call her or whatever. But I like opened the door and tripped over like the whatever it is where the doors, you know,
the
there's
doorstop.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, it's outdoor door cement, like, you know, like there's like a breezeway and then the stairs to all the apartments. So I was opening the door to like the breezeway and I tripped over something, fell into the cement stairs, bonked my knees. I had my purse in one, like over one arm. And then in my other hand, I was holding this giant like Christmas bag and it had some gifts in there for my sponsee and her girlfriend. Oh, I trip and fall, totally rip up the bottom of the bag. I sit down, I figure out that I'm in the wrong building and I drive her out, I like pick up the bag and I'm like carrying it sideways because there's no bottom anymore. I bring it up to her and everything. And it was like, if that is not just the most Katrina like that's me in a nutshell, like at the wrong apartment, tripping on things, ripping things.
But did the presents break?
No. Well,
just like, your knees, just
my knees. Yeah. And through my pants. But yeah, like the one of the gifts was a candle and the top of the candle was like that metal glass thing, you know what I mean? And that kind of dented. So I pulled it. She opened it. I'm like, yes, I gotta. I mean, you don't need the lid when you're burning candles, so. Right? Anyway, so I was running errands, and then I got to go see her and visit with her, and then do some and stuff. So that was good.
That's good. So you're having a good break.
Yeah. You know, I've tried to like pace myself as far as like my holiday stuff that's going on. You know, and just try to like keep it like not stressful, you know, like it doesn't have to be stressful. Like it can be, and it is sometimes without wanting it to be, but I'm just trying very hard to just like, okay, well, it is what it is. You know, my decorations this year aren't as like huge and on point as they have been in some years, you know, but hey, it's okay. That's how it is this year. I mean, I still have decorations up. It's just different, you know, but I'm not like bothered about like perfectness of it or anything like that. And, you know, it just kind of is what it is. And
that's my attitude. I'm just decompressing still from school. So I'm just like, I'm just gonna, it is what it is. Put the tree up soon-ish. And, you know, well, Kaya's so young. She doesn't know any better yet. Like next Christmas, it'll be a little bit different. I feel like she might be able to remember it, but you know, I have her toys laying out in front of her. She doesn't know, like they're not opened yet, but you know,
just boxes.
Yeah, she's like Elsa. I'm like, yeah. Elsa's got to go night in the box.
Night in the box. Get in the box. Yeah. What's in the box? Right. What's in the box?
Yeah. She's like, oh, okay, Elsa's sleeping. Yep, Elsa's sleeping. And then I like finally put it in storage. I'm like, okay.
I was going to try to come out and visit you tomorrow because I have this gift for Kaya. But, well, see, and then, I mean, otherwise I think I was like going to come out maybe try to come out tomorrow, but the problem is that there's another part of her gift that isn't here yet. So I'm like, well, I'll just save it all and give it to you regardless of whatever after Christmas, whatever, doesn't matter, except for that one of the things for Kaya is a Christmas outfit. So they're Christmas pajamas. So
we're going to be rocking those way after December 25th.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's all good.
They look warm and cozy. And I was like, I want those. And so, what size is she?
Yeah.
They were on sale at Target. So it wasn't like, an exorbitant amount, but I have others. So, so I won't come out and busy tomorrow. I have to make cookies. I've got my friends and neighbors. They have their daughter. She's really good, like cook and chef, just like her mom is. And so, oh my God, her mom does gourmet salt. Ooh. Is like a side business.
Wow.
Yeah, it's so good. I was like, I go through her garlic salt all the time. Like that's what I use as my like standard. And there's like jalapeno salt and rose. She does like all kinds of amazing things. Anyway, so
Sounds
her daughter
delicious.
is also one of my stepdaughter's friends. So she's always over, and she comes over every year and she helps me bake cookies because she's really good. And my stepdaughter, God love her, but helping in the kitchen is not one of her stronger suits. And so I have this other girl come over and we bake and we have a great time. And baby stepdaughter helps as she wants to help, whatever. But no big deal. And then, we have all have fun with decorating. I just set up all of the sprinkles and all the things, and I just let them go to town.
I like baking cookies. I mean, I'm not a good baker, but last year I bought like the expensive tip set for the frostings, and like I learned how to start doing that.
Wow.
Now I'm not good by any means, but
that's a good fun hobby though. Like
it's a good start,
and it's a good thing to focus. Like I'm going to focus, and it's like artistic,
Right. And I'm not artsy, so it's a little bit of a struggle, but it's still like relaxing to decorate cookies. I feel like, in a way.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I know, so like this girl, her little brother is type 1 diabetic. And so making sugar cookies at their house kind of just isn't a thing, right? Because like everything is so carefully controlled, and they do other stuff, right? They do, other sweet stuff and other things that aren't gonna like send him into an insulin shock or something. So like I think her coming over and having like the full sugar varieties of all of these things, is always fun. But plus she's actually really good like sous chef to have in the kitchen. She knows how to do things, and it's something that she's interested in. So she spent a lot of time doing it. So
that's awesome.
So yeah, it's my little sous chef. So she's coming over, and I think that's really the only like baking big stuff that I'm doing for the holidays. I think I'm going to go to Wegmans because we're having everybody here on Christmas Eve, and baby Frauded's girlfriend's mom just got out of the hospital today.
Oh, good.
Yeah, she's out. Everything's fine for now. I mean, there's, some stuff going forward and all this stuff, but everything's, good now. She's going to be coming home, and, she's got her girls home and everything. And I was like, I don't want you guys to have to cook and stuff. So why don't you just come over here, or at the very least, let us bring you food. And so I got to figure out like what's happening with that. And all this. And I think it's just easier. I can just go to Wegmans. They have everything done. It's so good. They like practically make it right in front of you. I'll just get like a bit of ham and then a bunch of sides, and I'll set it up, and, we'll figure it out. Feed everybody.
Super easy.
Feed everybody. Feed all. And we're doing all of our Christmas stuff on Christmas Eve, just because of when we have baby stepbrother. She's flying out of town with her other family on Christmas Day. So we're going to do everything then. And it's all, I mean, it feels kind of low key, but it doesn't in a lot of ways. I don't know. Maybe that'll change with this polar vortex cyclone bomb thing that's supposed to be coming through.
What's coming through?
Have you heard about this?
No.
This weather system that's moving through. They're calling it like a bomb cyclone, Arctic polar vortex freeze something.
Oh, wow. I haven't been on social media or news watching. I've like tried to shut out the world in the last few days to like decompress. So I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, it's like nuts. And it's like moving across the country, and like, Texas is going to get hit like they did a couple of years ago, I guess. So, when like everybody lost power and generators. Apparently that's going to happen again.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, talking to friends and, that live there and what are they going to be doing and, the anxiety and all this other stuff. So that's going to, this whole thing is coming through. Of course, we probably won't get snow because we live in the DC snow hole, but you're on the water. You're not going to get anything over there on the bay, but in the DC snow hole here that I'm in, I don't know. I have to see what the latest local weather is going to be. I just know that there's this big system moving across and it's like going to be bad and super, super cold.
When is it supposed to start?
I don't know. I feel like it's starting like now, like moving from west to east coast.
Well, good thing I got new tires.
Yeah, because I don't know how our local weather. I think it was either rain, freezing rain, sleet, snow. It was changing all the time. So
we always get the freezing rain and sleet with like the minimal snow, which is so much more dangerous to drive on. It's just like, come on, give us the snow.
The snow, they can plow, they can treat the roads, and it's a lot better than the ice and all that other nonsense. Yeah. So, I'm not, I don't plan on driving. I'm working the next week, but I'm working from home still. I'll start going back to the office like one day a week in the new year. Once I get my COVID booster thing. Yeah. So, that's for all of you guys in those danger zones, please be careful. Yeah. The Midwest, like, Wisconsin and all of that, Michigan and stuff, that's all supposed to be like super dangerously cold. Like it's going to be bad apparently. And then snow bomb cyclone, whatever. I don't know. It's crazy. It's nuts. All this travel is going to be impacted. I'm not traveling anywhere for the holidays this year. But, baby step Fraud's other family is supposed to be flying to California on Christmas Day. I don't know. So hopefully, yeah. So stay safe, everybody. Hope your holidays are going well.
Hope you get a white Christmas, but not too big of a white Christmas.
Right?
A safe white Christmas.
Safe white Christmas. For those of you guys who are still celebrating Hanukkah, that's still ongoing. Yeah. You guys, I am so excited to tell you about the Cheese Lover Shop. That's right, thecheeselovershop.com. Are you looking to have like a ready-to-go solution to create the perfect cheese board this holiday season? cheeselovershop.com has you covered. You are going to find the perfect solution to impress all of your guests with a variety of available cheese kits. These are great for office parties too. Like, are you assigned to bring a side dish to the holiday party? Well, guess what? cheeselovershop.com has everything. They offer a large variety of award-winning cheeses along with amazing complimentary items so that you can create the best cheese board at home or at the office. Do you want to offer a cheesy gift to your loved ones this holiday season, but you're not sure what they like? Do they like hard cheeses? Do they like soft cheeses? No problem. cheeselovershop.com offers e-gift cards so your loved ones can decide on their own what they want to get. Still don't know what else to get them? Guess what? They have cheese subscriptions. That's right, cheese subscriptions, so that you are sure to never run out of delicious cheese options. What better gift for the cheese lover in your life, right? Go to cheeselovershop.com and use code Fraudcast to get a free mystery cheese at checkout. That's cheeselovershop.com and use code Fraudcast, FRAUDCAST, to get a free mystery cheese with your order. So we are here today to talk Unsolved Mysteries. We are doing Volume 3, Episode 5, I think this is.
This was a fascinating episode.
It was so good, and it was so well done, I think, from like a production standpoint. Episode 5. And this is on Netflix. Y'all. So this is episode 5. It's called Navajo Nation Paranormal. Now this episode was, I thought, really cool. Like, and I didn't expect to be swayed at all by this because I'm like, I've heard about skinwalkers and stuff before, but I was like, no. And Bigfoot, come on now, right? Sorry, I'm trying to move my notes here and I can't. There we go. Like Skinwalkers and Bigfoot and all the stuff. Yeah, whatever. But I was, okay, let me settle in for what they're talking about. And it ended up being like, I'm like, oh my God, these things are real. These guys, these two guys that are these rangers or whatever, like, oh my God. Right.
There was like that one image of them, both of them standing like in the desert. Well, I don't even know where they were, not the desert, but like they looked like badasses. I was like, this is the Mulder and Scully of the Navajo Nation. Yeah.
Yeah. So they have this group called, so this episode focuses on this group called the Navajo Rangers. They do search and rescue operations and things like that on the Navajo reservation in like Arizona and all this stuff down there. And the whole episode is about sort of a couple different phenomenon that are happening and evidence and sightings of such on each, right? So the first part, they're talking about Bigfoot, then they talk about Skinwalkers, then they talk about UFOs and stuff, and they go through different scenarios and talk to different witnesses and pictures and stuff like that about each of these. So so these two guys are just like, they're part Navajo, said not of a lot of the same beliefs in what they would say paranormal. So they're part Navajo. They have a lot of these paranormal, they have a lot of these Navajo beliefs, but they don't tend to share the same paranormal beliefs that like full Navajo history believes in, right? So they get a complaint lodged. So the first part they're talking about is Bigfoot, right? Mm-hmm. Or I don't know, what do you want to call him? Bigfoot?
I like Bigfoot.
Sasquatch. I don't know what people call him, but that guy, right? Yeah. So apparently there's the reporting on this is that there's so many of these sightings that they just basically don't even call them all in. They don't call most of them in, and it's just normal for them. But they get a complaint lodged in the organization for a failure to investigate a Bigfoot case. So these guys go in and are like, wait, somebody didn't investigate a Bigfoot case? What? So they have to go in and see what happened. And as they go to investigate this, they're like, okay, we didn't investigate a Bigfoot case. Like, okay, that's not whatever. Mm-hmm. So they talk about one of the Bigfoot sightings, which was this up and down this river in this area. He said that one of the first things, it's an area that they don't normally get Bigfoot sightings. Now, that alone tells you, you're like, wait, what? There's so many sightings that they don't, they have a place where it's normal, like, and place where it's not. The reports are talking about they've seen this big hairy thing, like he's huge, he's really tall, covered in hair. They've had reports of Bigfoot taking sheep and sheep being killed from having their like wool ripped off their back. Mm-hmm. Yep. They go to a picture of what appears to be a big, like a knuckle punch, like into a trailer, like someone were to punch a trailer, but like a human, it's way bigger than a human hand, and the trailer is such that a human hand probably wouldn't be able to do that. So witnesses have given them the sense that these sightings have been going on for a while. Describe more description on 7 or 8 foot tall, muscular, wide shoulders, built like a tank. He said smells like a wet dog. Yeah. A large, huge, hairy beast. So Brenda Harris is Bigfoot witness. She's one of the witnesses. She's had several encounters. She talks about time in the summer, all windows are open. It was shortly after her husband has left for work. She hears something heavy on the porch. Next thing you know, she sees the doorknob turning. Went to the door and opened it, and like, which first of all, what the fuck? Why are you going to open it?
Yeah.
And she sees a Bigfoot, black, tall, covered in hair, but not muscular, kind of scraggly looking. And then it darted off the porch running west. Mm-hmm. She states that 20 minutes later, it comes back and turns the doorknob again. And as soon as she turns the bedroom light on, it ran off and it went through the night. Next day, it walked around the house and they saw a footprint that was like 18 by 4. 18. Yeah. What is
it
that?
was huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was huge. My thing is, why wouldn't you call the police that night? Like, if the thing is jiggling the doorknob, it's obviously intelligent, right? It knows how to get in and out of things. And you're in a trailer. It's not really stable.
Why are you opening the motherfucking door?
Exactly. I was really confused about that. I was like, this either A, she's lying, or she's stupid, or I don't want to say she's stupid, but I'm saying like, Darwinism to me is like, I mean, you wouldn't open the door. Like, you want to survive.
Navajo belief of, in the paranormal is something that comes up frequently in this episode, obviously, right? So to a lot of Navajo, like seeing this kind of thing, she's had several encounters or whatever. Why wouldn't she call the police? Because it's kind of normal to them. Yeah, because they have these beliefs of these kinds of things. But whatever, opens the fucking door. I still no. But
without you're a gun, like she doesn't even say I have a gun, like loaded. You know what I mean? Just opens the door.
Just hi, and then she goes and turns the light on when it comes back, like she's going to welcome it in for like coffee. I don't know.
Yeah, this thing is skinning sheep.
Oh God. So the Rangers take a team up the river. They found evidence of 21-inch footprints and a 5-foot stride. They tracked it, and it had stepped over the barbed wire fence. They collected a tuft of hair from the fence, sent it away for DNA. It came back to unknown carnivore. Mm-hmm. The point that they make about this is, it could be any kind of animal or whatever, blah, 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 blah. But they say that in the database, like all of those random weird animals are in the database. So if it was one of those other ones, why wasn't it in the database? Why does it have to say unknown carnivore?
Well, and then I was looking on Reddit too, and people were like, well, maybe the sample wasn't good enough. Like maybe, it had been out, it had been weathered or yada, yada, yada. I'm like, well, then wouldn't they have said that in the episode? Like, hey, we couldn't test the sample because it wasn't, you either have DNA or you don't. I feel like you either have enough to conclude that it is or isn't something, or it's not good enough. It's not usable, right? Like there's no
I think
in the middle.
I think it depends on the kinds of testing, because it's not just like, well, we're going to test it for DNA. And they say that, but there's really multitudes of types of DNA testing.
Right.
So you can get more details and things like that. And some of it, you need different amounts in different parts. Like if the hair doesn't have the root, you're limited on what you can get. You need that root to be able to get more DNA. Right. So I don't know, but I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it's a logical argument we would make in a crime case, right? So
yeah,
was the sample sufficient for whatever testing they were trying to do?
Exactly, and they didn't say in the episode that it wasn't. So my assumption is they did have enough of whatever DNA they needed to conclude it wasn't something in their database.
Right.
Which a lot of people online too are saying, hey, I think she's lying, or I think that, maybe she was under the influence. I mean, the people were saying all kinds of crazy things, but I think the kicker was the DNA. I mean, that was some pretty significant evidence.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So there's that. And then she also sets up a camera behind her house. The first one, she picks up a juvenile Bigfoot. Now, this video...
It looked to me like a kid in a costume, but
yeah, there's definitely something there.
Yeah.
But I mean, and I typed holy shit in all caps because there's definitely something there. But what it is, who knows? Who knows? She's got some recordings of vocalizations, which could be any animal. Who knows? She talks about the fencing that was all pulled apart. She talks about they talk about the camera that's on the horse corral, and there's like a silhouette shadow in that. It could be, maybe not. Like, what is it? They followed the footprints and they suddenly disappear. So they were tracking them and it suddenly disappeared. What are your thoughts?
Okay.
On any of this evidence?
Do I think that Bigfoot could exist? Yes, I do think that there's a chance Bigfoot exists. Do I
think Bigfoot is a single entity, or are there lots of them, or?
I think because there have been multiple like sightings throughout.
It's a species.
Yeah, possibly. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Do I think that what she had at her house was Bigfoot? I don't know, because I feel like even after the cameras were put up, it's just it's interesting to me that that's all she got, right? That was it. There was no clear cut, like the one image of like the thing getting up and like running or whatever, to me looked like a human, but I feel like it was just such a small clip that it wasn't enough to convince me, yes, for sure, that was a Bigfoot. The DNA,
I thought it was interesting because you said it looked like a human sized, and I think that's why they're saying juvenile.
Right.
Juvenile Bigfoot.
It's interesting though that she never reported anything smaller until that one video came out. I'm like, okay, so you have two Bigfoot, but is it big feet if it's plural? Like, I don't know.
Bigfoots?
Or is it like deer? Is it still like, anyways, so there's like two of them now, I guess.
There's plural Bigfoots.
Right. Big feet. There's big feets.
There's multiple big feet sightings.
I took one linguistics class in college. I have no idea what the proper term is. But anywho,
is that
I don't know.
Would that be linguistics?
I don't even know. I mean, it's study a language or just basic English class. I don't know. I don't know. If any of the viewers know if it's plural, big feet, Bigfoot, Bigfoots.
I have no idea. Oh my God.
This is what happens when we record at night.
I know, you guys. This is us late. It's Katrina and Lexi after dark.
I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't. Dumb. Yeah. I don't know if I believe it. I really don't. I don't know. In her case, I don't know. The evidence to me, even though there was a footprint, and then the footprint just magically stops. Like this thing is what probably weighs like 500 pounds, if not more, if it's however tall. You're telling me that the footprint just stops, or did somebody?
Do they have like the ability to run and jump? Like, are we thinking they're like the vampires in the Twilight series, or like Edward Cullen, and they can just run and jump and super fast?
Maybe.
Like,
I mean. Then I feel like you would hear people talking about seeing one of them move like that. Everyone who sees a Bigfoot, well, I shouldn't say everyone, because I've not done my research on this. And I actually know somebody that like does Bigfoot conventions, and been meaning to text them. I was like, oh, he'd be great to have on here.
We need to bring him on.
Yes, we should. I'll message him.
Yeah. Set it up.
Yeah. And he can give us more into the evidence of like what people have seen, because obviously there's like not a cult following, but there are a lot of people that throw conventions, that do these
there's
different groups. So there has to be something out there. I mean, there has to be enough evidence of something, whether it be Bigfoot or not, to make people believe that it's real.
Right.
So what do you think? Do you believe her?
It's any of these individual pieces of evidence can be picked apart. Right. Like, oh, well, on that thing, it's this, and that, it could be this and this. And so you kind of debunk each and every one of them. But at the same time, when you look at the picture as a whole, right, the totality of circumstances, as we would say at work.
Yeah.
Yeah. We look at the totality of everything, like it doesn't look good, in the sense that like it looks like there's something happening. Right.
Yeah.
All of these things, in order for all of these things to like, if you debunk each thing, like the planning and skill levels and things like that you would need to have the other thing occur that caused it, seem like really a step too far for every single one of these incidents for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for it to be a kid in a costume jumping up from the fire pit or whatever it was in her backyard.
We only saw like a small clip of that video. It'd be interesting to see the whole video. Like, you know what I mean? I would like to see a longer amount of time to make any kind of conclusive decision. And I would like to see it analyzed. I'm curious to know if that video is legit. There has to be somebody out there that can, analyze the video.
Yeah. You know what? I can't remember. I'm going to go to it. The Netflix Tudum pages that have the extra evidence and stuff. I'm seeing right here if they have like the extra Oh, the evidence of Bigfoot. Oh, they have a lot of the pictures. Yeah, but I don't know if the whole video is on here or not. These are all pictures, like the footprints and the trails, the tracking.
Yeah.
Well, that's definitely something. Jesus. Yeah, there's more on here that they didn't show on the show. Oh, and then there's a picture of the tuft of hair.
Yeah. The one footprint looks really deep, and then another one is shallow. I mean, obviously the thing's heavy if the footprint is that deep in the mud. Who am I kidding? If I were to get lost in the woods, which I have before, I would not survive. Oh my God.
You've gotten lost in the woods.
Yeah, it was traumatic with a group of people.
How old were you?
This was like 2 years ago.
Oh my God. Girl.
It was a school thing. It was, yeah. Anyways. But like even the handprints on the window.
I don't know about that.
I don't know.
I'm looking at the addition. Oh, there is additional video available for download. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's those videos are here. In the
and even the
box.
one like silhouette, like this one, to me,
the horse. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I don't know. That to me looks almost human.
Oh yeah, here's the video. It's only 19 seconds. Yeah, there it is. And then the sounds. Oh my God, yeah. Looks like something.
Oh, and then somebody actually found on Reddit a couple different audio sounds. One was from like a 76 or something album of a band that had that's like almost that same sound play on their album, and then another one had a Godzilla toy from like the 90s. I think
the same
sound. So they were like, it sounds like the Godzilla toy, and it sounds like the
the audio recordings I don't put a lot of stock into because there's no way to authenticate them, right?
Yeah.
That of how they were set up and all that. And same with the other evidence, you know what I mean? Like any of these things could be explained away by something else or somebody trying to set it up. You know, you can always do that. But I don't know. I mean, I ended this episode a little bit more convinced that there could be something out there.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, part of it maybe is just to be frank, my ignorance of the Bigfoot world, right? Like, I don't know necessarily what the lore is or what the myths are.
Me too.
Is it one guy? Is it two guys? Is there lots of Sasquatches, big feet? Like what is, I don't know what the lore is to know, you know, to put stock in it or not. So this episode educated me, you know, a very tiny bit on that. And, you know, maybe, you know, there is something to it, you know?
Yeah, I'm open to it.
Can you tote it, but you just need an egg? Or maybe you have all the eggs. Do you even know what your ovarian reserve is? Did you know that 1 out of 6 couples struggle with infertility? Seriously, that's a staggering statistic that most people don't know or aren't ready to talk about. But we need good data and information about our bodies in order to have informed conversations with our doctors and make the best decisions for ourselves and our futures. What if I told you that you could get important fertility insight without going to the doctor or even leaving home? The traditional guidance with fertility has been just wait and see. I know, I've been through it myself. There's got to be a better way. But now we have tools to help us plan for and track everything in our lives. Wellness, finances, careers, school. Why is fertility still just wait and see? That's why Modern Fertility was created. It's an easy and affordable way to test your fertility hormones at home with a simple finger prick. Mail it in with a prepaid label and you'll get your personalized results within 10 days. You'll get insight into your hormone levels, your ovarian reserve, aka how many eggs you have compared to other women your age. Like, can you tote your own egg or do you need somebody else's egg? and other really important fertility factors. The results go deep into what every hormone means, and you can also download the results to review with your doctor for the next steps. Traditional testing can cost over $1,000, but Modern Fertility gets you the same information at a fraction of the price. If you go to modernfertility.com/fraudcast, you can get $20 off your test. Also, if you have an HSA or FSA, you can put those dollars towards Modern Fertility, which is great. If you want kids today or maybe one day in the future, clinically sound information about your body now can help you make the right decision that's right for you. Right now, Modern Fertility is offering our listeners $20 off the test when you go to modernfertility.com/fraudcast. That means your test will cost $179 instead of the hundreds or thousands it could cost at a doctor's office. Get $20 off your fertility test when you go to modernfertility.com/fraudcast. That's modernfertility.com/fraudcast. Did you know that 30 million women are impacted by weakened or thinning hair? If you're among them, know that you're not alone and that there is a solution that you can trust to deliver results. Millions of Americans experience thinning hair. It's more than common. It's actually normal, but it's not openly talked about, especially among us women. Going through it can feel lonely and frustrating, but it's time to change that conversation and join the thousands of women who are already standing up for their strands with Nutrafol. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement, clinically shown to improve your hair growth, thickness, and visible scalp coverage. Nutrafol supports healthy hair growth from within by targeting the 5 root causes of thinning: stress, hormones, environment, nutrition, and metabolism through a whole body health. Nutrafol has 3 unique formulas to support women through all stages of life, including postpartum and menopause. Each formula is physician formulated using natural, drug-free, medical-grade ingredients in consistently effective dosages so you get the most reliable results. In a clinical study, 86% of women reported improved hair growth after 6 months. Over 3,000 top doctors and stylists have recommended Nutrafol as an effective and high-quality solution for healthier hair. You can grow thicker, healthier hair and support our show by going to Nutrafol.com and entering the promo code FRAUD to save $15 off your first month's subscription. This is their best offer anywhere, and it's only available to U.S. customers for a limited time. Plus, free shipping on every order. Get $15 off at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code FRAUD.
It's interesting, though, that if Bigfoot does exist, why have there not been any bodies found or bones or anything? Mm-hmm. To my knowledge, there hasn't been. So I'm like, you would think that.
Is that part of the lore? Like, what do the big feet enthusiasts have to say about that? Like,
when they die, does their body resurrect? Does it go up to the skies with the UFOs? Yeah.
Speaking of UFOs, around the same time as this increase in Bigfoot sightings, there was an increase in UFO sightings.
Yes.
In the Navajo reservation area. They suspected they were coming. Most Navajos would say that it's normal. So this idea that there's an increase in Bigfoot sightings and then followed by an increase in UFO sightings, that would be like, oh, okay, that's just a normal
day. Normal time.
So some of these, the descriptions they're talking about, they look like orbs operating at speeds and angles that we couldn't imagine, which tracks with the same description of the way they moved from the UFO episode a couple episodes ago. That tracks, the speeds and angles. There's an anonymous witness, want to be anonymous because of the stigma, discusses strange lights as being known in the community, right? She's driving home. It's around 1:30 a.m. No houses have lights. There's no lights. There's nothing, right? It's just an open, dark desert. No houses, no lights, nothing. Driving through the desert. She sees a red light off of her driver's side. She followed it for a minute or two. She said there was no sound. Again, that tracks with what we had in the other episode.
Yeah.
She takes her eyes off the red light to take a curve and then sees a bright white light. It's no longer red. It was so close to her that she was scared, realized that whatever it was intelligent enough to be following her.
Terrifying.
The what?
Terrifying.
Yeah, terrifying. Stayed with her for about a quarter of a mile, and then it shot forward, stopped, and then shot straight up in the sky, and then arced like a shooting star. She said she was terrified. In the morning when she woke up, she had the worst migraine she's ever had in her entire life. Reached out to the ranger guy, so they went out to her car looking for magnetic anomalies. 2 areas had intense magnetic attraction. Now, I know nothing of this and what you're measuring for and what it means, right?
Yeah.
So I'm ignorant of all that, but whatever they're talking about, 2 areas of intense magnetic attraction, that would have been like that. Like it was a straight line through the car. Like I imagine like in crime scene reconstruction, how they shoot the red laser lights from like to show the route, you know? So yeah. So like the entry and exit of the car, it like went through the car, which would have probably hit her, could have caused this physical result in this migraine.
Which I do have to tell a story after we talk about this that I found.
Okay.
Super cool.
Okay. So we have a non-Navajo resident of the reservation. He taught English as a second language on the reservation. His name is Haas Lors. He describes at dusk, he sees an odd light. A few nights later, he sees odd light hovering above this butte called Satan's Butte. It's like for those who don't know what a butte is, it's like almost like a mountain in the middle of like a desert. I mean, it's like it just looks like a flat platform above the ground. So that's the one they called Satan's Butte. They saw it just hovering above there. It had red lights around the middle. It was odd shaped. It had tendrils of light coming off of the ship coming down. Described them as glowing. Fast forward a week, he sees it again. He tries to take a picture, and there's something there for sure on the pictures and stuff. But what? I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, no Navajo is shocked by this. Navajo people taught him to believe in things that you can't always understand. Stories going from generation to generation about paranormal activity. There's heteroglyphs of UFOs and aliens and extraterrestrial beings. Happens a lot, but not talked about because of the stigma. And it's still considered taboo for a lot of the older generation, but not so for the younger generation. So they're being open about and talking about it more, about their sightings, things that they're seeing. This younger generation that's going to save us all from Elon Musk. That that generation is starting to talk about that. So that's our UFO segment.
So I actually did some research and I found an interview with Lieutenant John Dover, and he explains, which didn't make it on the show. I mean, this is like a podcast he did, one of the paranormal rangers,
one of the rangers that's on the show.
Yeah. So he said he lived 28 minutes away from Domino's Pizza, okay? And him and his daughter would order pizza all the time, and they knew as soon as they called Domino's and ordered it, as soon as they would leave, they'd get to Domino's, it would be ready 28 minutes later. So this particular day, they called and order it, get into their car, they're driving, and they see these lights. So they pull over for a minute, and they're both looking at the lights, and they're like, what is that? Like, UFO type lights or whatever. Well, after, like, he said that he was on the side of the road for a minute, and then his phone rang, and it was Domino's Pizza calling. Hey, where are you? Your pizza's ready. It's been ready for 45 minutes. And him and his daughter look at each other like, what? No, we just literally pulled over for a minute. Like, that was it, a minute. So they lost track of time. And that did not make the show.
They lost time.
Yes.
They completely lost time.
Yes.
So,
yep.
Oh, I wonder what happened to them.
I know. I'll send you the link, and there's an email address too to contact the paranormal rangers. So I was like, maybe we should reach out.
See if they'd come on the show.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Why not?
Talk about the stories.
Yeah, because that was a great story. I was like, okay, that should have made the cut. Come on, Netflix.
Yeah, like, I mean, we've talked about this before. We believe in UFOs. We believe in alien life forms. You know, I don't know if that's the term. I mean, I guess that's the term we're using. I don't know. But we believe that we're not alone in this universe, right? We've talked about this before. You know, a lot of the same things track. But of course, if there are different kinds of aliens and different kinds of UFOs, they're going to have different behaviors when they're around here. So I wouldn't expect everybody who sees UFO to describe the exact same ship.
Yeah.
I think that was a criticism. Like, why would this one talks about tendrils of light coming down. Guy in the episode, couple episodes ago, didn't mention tendrils. Well, yeah, they're different beings. Different species, different beings, as it were. Yeah. As to why, well, I don't know. I mean, I was to say as to why the Navajo reservation seems to be particularly blessed with all these events, you know, and then as we talk about the Skinwalkers, I mean, I think a lot of things, I mean, if people don't believe in this stuff, they're not going to see it. Right.
Yeah. No matter what you say, they're going to find a way to debunk it.
Yeah. You know, they're not going to notice it as such. You're not aware of the signs or this and that. And, you know, I think if people are much more open to it, and as the Navajo are, I think it makes a lot of sense that they, you know, use that area in deserts, and, you know, less people are going to see them out there too.
Yeah.
You know? If they're doing, I don't know, do they come here to do training? Like we go to other countries to do training with our like, Navy and stuff and Air Force?
I think it's more like research. I think they're researching us.
Interesting. Kind of like, okay, like when we go to other like planets or whatever.
Yeah, or like we go under the sea. What are we doing? We're observing. We're somewhat interacting.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. Okay, so the next phenomenon that we're talking about here is a thing called Skinwalkers. Now,
terrifying.
These things sound terrifying. And they're apparently an entity that can shape-shift human to animal, coyote, wolf, anything they can get the skin of. So like they literally take your skin. Mm-hmm. The human form is white, like paint. Crackling, like if you painted yourself and let it dry and crackled. Hair is painted too. Can run as fast as a car can drive. They're dangerous and it's frightening. So this guy talks about how he knows they exist because he's had personal experience. Before he was in law enforcement, way back in the day, he took his sister's car and was driving along this, like with this fence, and this skinwalker was running alongside him, well past 60 miles an hour. So had like the body of like a greyhound, but he was head to toe solid white, mouth full of teeth, head that's canine shaped. Eyes were like self-illuminating. They were like lit from the inside, self-illuminating. So he floors it in the car. He runs home and explained to his father, who told him it was a skinwalker.
Oh, just a skinwalker, son. Nothing to worry about.
No, but his aunt went to a medicine man who told him it was tied to someone trying to do his family harm. And they're real and they're deadly.
Just hearing you repeat, you know, that back is terrifying to me. I'm gonna have nightmares. I know.
They didn't have a lot of stories about this, right? Because then they were talking about the haunting, the ghost, just the regular ghosties. So that was it on the Skinwalkers. I don't have a lot of information on these guys. Again, like Bigfoot, like I'm even less knowledgeable about Skinwalkers. So I didn't have any frame of reference for this going into this episode. And
I'll be honest, I was too terrified to look it up.
That's kind of where I'm at, because I'm like, holy shit, these things seem like, oh God, you know, like they seem like they could be real. Like, I don't know. And they sound terrifying. So, yeah. So I think that's it. That's all I have to say about Skinwalkers. Let's get to the ghosts, because ghosts are much more comforting.
I love ghosts. Ghosts are cool.
Yes. So this next case they're talking about a haunting case of a government office building, which is funny because the government office building that I used to work in when I lived in Hawaii was also haunted.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
And very similar stories about coins. So employees were saying that there was crazy activity in this building, that things were moving, things were flying across the room, voices, etc. This building from the 1930s at one point in time was used as a morgue. A female worker there who was experiencing repeated calls into her desk phone with no one there. Phone company wasn't able to tell her where they were originating from. Building had 4 levels, so he developed a team of people, like one for each floor, to observe.
Mm-hmm.
They go in on a weekend with his buddies. They hear voices. They can't make out what they're saying. Then hear a coin fall. And my notes here are, oh my God, coins are ghosts, because ghosts like to play with coins.
They like to communicate with coins too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, which you're going to hear on here. Like my experience with them in this particular office building, the one that I lived or worked at in Hawaii, they would jingle the change. Like you would just hear it. Like all of us had change in our desk drawer. And if somebody was working late or there on a weekend on trial prep or whatever, you could hear it sometimes in other offices. They would just jingle the coins.
Mm-hmm.
So,
did they ever leave coins out for you?
I think so. I think so. Yeah.
If that ever happens to anyone listening, write down like the year that the coin has on it and what kind of coin it is. Like if it's a dime, a nickel.
That's the key to understanding what they're saying.
Well, apparently angels, if you believe in that, angels like to communicate, or spirit guides, through dimes. I don't know why, but they use a lot of dimes. And then I don't know about the other coins, but just pay attention. I know if it's a year or two, it could be significant. Maybe it's something, maybe somebody died or somebody was born in that year.
Right.
So I don't know.
Well, in this one, it has to do with a lot of coins. And now this story blew me away.
65 coins.
So here's these coins or whatever. Everybody pulls their pockets out. Nobody has coins in their pockets. Another coin falls down on the other side. Coins are on the desk. They're laying out. They come back. So they take the coins, they put them on the desk, lay them out. Just lay them out on the desk. They come back and suddenly they're all stacked on their own. There's a total of 65 coins that are all suddenly stacked that they weren't before, all landed heads up. He still has these coins, which kind of terrifies me. He says it was.
I keep them too.
He says it was the spirit saying, "Hey, heads up, I'm here," which I love that message personally. Having that. Next day, while working at the table, another coin falls behind him. He goes to investigate his house. 5 coins fall on his head.
Yeah.
Same coins from there followed him home to his residence. And again, they all landed face up. So this part, I was like confused at first, and I had to realize what happened. He was saying that like he was at the place where at the building, the coins all fell or whatever. And then, he left, went home, and those same coins then were now falling on the floor at his residence. Again, all landing face up. So he's talking about how the soul leaves to go somewhere else, like the beliefs about, we're just souls having a human experience here on Earth, right? And soul energies, energy, blah, 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 can't be
created nor destroyed. Just
all of that and stuff. So these energies of souls just transfer to other, we just live different lifetimes and on things like that, which is a belief that I hold personally as well.
Me too.
Right. So he's talking about how the soul is leaving to go somewhere else, and that sometimes we see the results of these energies making themselves known. Absolutely 100%. I've had these experiences myself. You have as well.
Oh, yes.
It's a very, very large thing if you up to learning about those kinds of energies, which I think is amazing stuff. He talks about trying to determine if there's an underlying parallel in all of the events, like the Skinwalkers, the big feet, the UFOs, the coins, all of that. So all of the events can be connected through the idea of this multi-universe and like dimensional gates. Like there's multiple universes, there's these gates, portals, whatever you want to call them, to the different dimensions. The coins came from someone else and they manifested in our physical world. Different dimensions have different beings, like Bigfoot, UFOs, whatever kind of beings, etc. And sometimes they cross over. They fit into the same Navajo theories dating back to the emergence, which is coming from several different worlds through a hole in the sky. And are these portals still here? Are they open? Are they closed? Blah, 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 blah. He's 10 years retired now and he misses the work, but he's not going to stop helping people, especially those living in fear. There's so much more to the universe than we can see that we've only just begun to scratch the surface. I 100% am down on that theory. Where do you stand?
Me too. Me too. I've experienced and seen too much. And I was like a non-believer in a lot of things until my late, like 27, 28 years old, when everything happened to me at once. And I think it's one of those things where if you're closed-minded, you're not open to it, you're not going to notice the signs around you. If you're open, you ask for signs. If you communicate in a way that is like positive and whatnot, you may get those signs. You may be able to have those experiences. I think everything around us is just amazing. It's just, there's so much more we don't know about. And until you have an experience, I don't think you can really truly believe it. 'Cause people, I mean, there are like, people that are just like, no way, that's not real. That's not, but I'll show you. Come with me. I'll take you to some haunted places. And let me tell you, you're going to experience things that you've never experienced that are unexplainable.
Right.
Like,
absolutely. 100%. I absolutely down with you on I believe we're all just spiritual souls having a human experience, right? And we've done this before, and I believe we enter into a soul contract.
Me too.
In which we agree, us as a soul agrees to this lifetime, and including all of the things that are going to happen. So that's, unfortunate things too. You know what I mean?
When I see people that have like severe forms of autism or that are severely handicapped, like in my heart and soul, I believe those are like the strongest of all of us. Those are like the warriors that have come back.
Because those souls have chosen that.
Yes.
Truly. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, because the soul contract, you choose that life. And certain lessons are going to be taught to you, and souls choose different lives available to them for various reasons. There's certain lessons you still need to be, learning and things like that. Having a past lives reading is really fascinating in that regard.
I've never had one of those.
We need to get you hooked up with Shea. We need Shea to come on and do that for you.
I've had weird, I don't know if you call them like blips or like visions of things that have happened to me in a past. Like I didn't know what it was at the time.
Right.
But now like understanding. So I'm going to keep that to myself, because if I do a past life reading, I'm curious to see if somebody else would pick up on what those situations were.
Right.
It's very, very cool. But
yeah. And I had a full past life reading. Not that she would have gotten all of the past lives, just what is
the recurring themes, or
she asked for what do I need to know about my past lives that affects me today? Like, what is it about these, because really, I mean, the goal is to be empowered, and the goal is to be strong and knowledgeable, and, be able to take action. Right. So she asks generally like, well, what does the spirit want us to know about these past lives that are the most impactful in your life now, where you're at? If you have questions about your life, or if you just, want to know. I'm just sort of curious, because I'm sort of the belief I'm in a place spiritually right now, a good place spiritually, where everything that just sort of goes along is, the universe is as it is intended, and I'm along for the ride, versus me trying to assert my will and dominance into the world and try to change all that. But whatever, it doesn't matter. You get these past lives of, sometimes there's like a recurring theme in them, and it's like, God, and some of the things that I had come up were like, oh my God, like, that makes sense. That tracks. And I actually had gone to her for this because I have this chronic pain, as you know about, and the doctors are kind of befuddled. The Western medicine doctors are befuddled, which means the perfect time for the Eastern medicine, which is you. And there's a sort of theory that that it's actually an injury from a past life that's affecting you now for a variety of reasons that you can work on in therapy. And I was turned on to this idea through this book. Oh God, what is it? What is it? What is it?
I don't know, but they're doing a lot of research with kids in past lives. And they're showing things that are not explainable by any means. Like 3-year-olds remembering things that names, dates, so they're doing some like major research on past lives.
Journey of Souls. That's what it was. Oh my God. That's what it is. Totally blanked. It's Journey such a good book. Michael Newton is the author. Is that his first one? But his book changed my life. And yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna have to buy this.
Yes, it's really, really good. Now, I did it on audiobook, and hearing him read it, like, it was just amazing. So anyway, that book changed my life. The very first chapter, he is a guy who's a therapist, PhD level therapist, and he was treating this person who had chronic pain and all this stuff, and did a past life regression where they were able to find that area of chronic pain was somewhere where like they'd been knifed through the neck, and that's how they died in a prior life or something like that. Wow. So they were able to then, okay, well, why? And then he used, standard therapeutic tools, cognitive behavioral therapy, I don't know, whatever, like normal therapy stuff to work through why that was presenting as an issue now, to work through the pain. Right. So that's like, I had this, oh my God, this is what I need to do, because I have neck pain and it's a whole thing. Right. So that's what I went to her for, but I didn't tell her any of the, my history. I didn't tell her any of my injuries. She didn't know any of that about me. And so she was able to go through these lives and tell me there are certain things about a couple of them that would have tracked. So there's one where I like burned 80% of my body, saving my daughter from a fire. Oh, wow. But then I was able to heal myself using natural, like plants, dirt, those kinds, like natural plant stuff. And then I wrote a book about it. It was really interesting. And then there was another life where something had happened, and I forget the rest of the details. I have notes on it, and I have actually had the session recorded. I could go back and watch it.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Is she in Virginia?
No, she's in Florida.
Okay.
But you do it on Zoom, right? So there was another one where she's like, and then all of a sudden she's like, oh my, like certain things on her hurt. And it was the exact, like, she's like, why is this hurt? Certain parts of her were the exact same spots of me that were hurt. Mm-hmm. So she was feeling it. And then, it was really affecting her and everything. And it had to do with whatever was, and she told me the story about what it was happening, but it was like all of these things, there was things that made sense and things that connected. And, it's leading me towards, more natural ways of treating all my pain, which is, I'm doing physical therapy. I'm, seeing acupuncturists, mm-hmm. I'm, doing all of these natural ways of handling the pain and issues that I'm having.
Yeah.
So
I'm telling you, we're all connected on some level. And people, I think that there are people that want to divide, like people that are super religious that are like, no, there's no way that could happen. And I'm like, no, it's all connected. Like you can be religious and be spiritual. You can be. And
absolutely.
I'm not saying you have to be one or the other or whatever, but I'm just saying like everything is connected. And you mentioned pain and physical stuff. So it's like a running joke with me in acupuncture. Sometimes I'll be driving to the appointment and I'll have a physical pain And I will guess that that's what the person's coming in for. One time I was driving and I was like, I had a shooting pain in my left knee, the lateral side of my, and I'm like, I never have knee pain. I'm like, ooh. And then I get there and I'm like, let me guess, your left knee hurts. She's like, oh, how did you know? I was like, just a guess. Just a
literally
guess.
a feeling.
Yeah. I was like, I had a stabbing pain in my knee. That's actually what, no, but it's crazy.
Like, so you have, you know, empathic, and you're already an 100%. Empath. I already knew that anyway, but you have like the physical empathic abilities, which makes great sense about why you're in the field that you're in, right? This healing.
Well, yeah, and then I actually went to like this like conference for spiritual healers and psychics and everything, and it was kind of like there was a couple.
I want to go to one. Can I be your plus one? Yeah, it was
in College Park. No, it was College Park. It was a few years ago. My mom came with me.
I want to be your plus one.
Yeah, there were like these couple psychics. Anybody can go, so you're good. And I booked like a 15-minute session with one of them, and I'll have to look up their names. I don't remember, but like we're sitting there, and she grabs my hands, and you don't even like all you write down is your first name, and you pay like this other person, and they're back to back to back. They don't have time to research you or anything. Like
right.
And I sit down, and she grabs my hands, and she was like, "You heal people with your hands." I was like, "What?" She's like, that's what you do. You heal people with your hands. I was like, oh, now I guess that's very generalized, but also kind of specific. Like, I was like, well, actually I'm an acupuncturist. So that's interesting that you would say that.
Yeah.
I think there's just so many things that are out there that are just.
Yeah. And I don't think our intention in even talking about this is we're not trying to convince people.
Yeah.
Like we're not here trying to convince you. We're sharing our experiences and talking about it. If you believe in these kinds of things, you do, you know, you're gonna believe it. And so, I mean, I think that's what, you know, we're talking about it more from that sort of perspective.
Yeah.
You know, we're not out here trying to convince you. If you don't believe, then, that's
fine.
Yeah. I'm not here to tell you you're wrong. You know what I mean? But yeah, like there's just definitely too many things. And so the building the office building that I worked at in Hawaii, it's Hawaii, first of all. So what is on the land? For those of you who can think back to the Brady Bunch Hawaii, where he stole the amulet thing from Hawaii, and then on all the things were cursed because he stole from the volcano. Lexi's looking at me like, what? I would think that you might know that Brady Bunch episode, but those of us who are of a certain age will know that episode. And so, there's already a lot of history in that land. And, but then also the location where my building was, it used to be like a port. So we wondered if there was a lot of people passing through it. It wasn't like people were either people could have been there, like that was the land that they were on, like, and so they're going to stay there. But the senses that we got from the various experiences that everyone had and what people could tell, it seemed to be not the same people each time or whatever. So we sort of thought it was the people passing through the port to get on the ships to leave or whatever. Because it was such a transitory, because that's what the ghosts feel like is very transitory. And then I my own house, had a murder suicide in my house. So, talked to people about that and cleared a lot of energy and stuff. It was interesting. Now I've saged my house, many times with either like white sage or Palo Santo or whatever. He talks about like
saging himself. Yeah.
Saging himself. Like that's like extra protection. Like after he started doing paranormal investigations, he suddenly needed security in ways that he didn't before. And so that was like, but it's spiritual security. He smudges with sage, carries a black obsidian arrowhead. I used to carry a black tourmaline in my bra. Because as empaths, we, absorb all this other energy, and that helps to block it out. It also, I have a note here, reminds me I need to do a good cleanse of like the house, and
I do too. Yeah,
just do a good cleansing. So anyway, overall, I love this episode. I absolutely love this episode. It was just done really, really well. If you guys are interested in more, if you've gotten this far, I'm sorry, after all our talk about random stuff, there are conversations on the Reddit, which we will link for you. And if you have paranormal events that you want to share, go to unsolved.com. That will be linked. We will put all, the extra pictures and things like that down below. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
If you like us, please subscribe to the show so you don't miss an episode. Share with your friends and get chatting on the Facebook. Yeah.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah,
Merry Kwanzaa.
Yep.
And Happy New Year. We'll have another episode before New Year.
Yeah.
Probably. Yep. All right. Bye.